Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Milan. I'd like to welcome everybody to day 4 of our incredible virtual New England USPTA tennis conference. I hope you enjoyed the last 3 days as much as I have. We have a great session for you in the store today again. This will be a new one to us. We're going to be, in an hour, we're going to try to hit up 3 different speakers. So this will be a 3-part session. We'll start with my quick introduction to Nate Gross. Nate Gross is going to take us through SPEC Tennis. I don't know how many of you are familiar with SPEC Tennis, but Nate's been teaching tennis in Northern California. So it is actually a morning for him. Thank you for taking the time, Nate, and jumping on before lunch. Nate's been involved with SPEC Tennis since 2016. He's been the founder of SPEC Tennis. And if you don't know SPEC Tennis, and I didn't know much about it till a couple months ago, and you Google it, the first thing comes up on YouTube is actually his introduction. It was kind of cool to see his face and his name and his little intro to SPEC Tennis. So I'd like to welcome to our New England virtual conference, Nate Gross. Nate, the floor is yours. Everybody enjoy. I will just comment on something that I think it's really cool. I love the play-based training idea. I also love the idea of teaching people how to, the receiving skills. You mentioned the word of receiving skills. I think often that's overlooked. We lose a lot of people in tennis because we teach them the sending skills, but we don't really talk about the receiving skills. And SPEC Tennis is an entry to tennis itself, kind of pathway to tennis, being able to pack a lot of kids. You know, that's where the plays-based training comes into the picture. I love the presentation yesterday about paddle, a lot of play-based stuff there too. There's 3 questions in here, and I'll start with the first one. Have you tried to use pickleball paddles with the first-time players in SPEC Tennis?
Yeah, it doesn't work that well. The pickleball paddle is really light, like 7 to 8 ounces. The SPEC Tennis paddle is about 10.4 ounces. And so one of the benefits of having that, especially with a junior, is it forces really good biomechanics. So if they want to get power with the paddle, it forces them to turn their shoulders and use their legs, as opposed to something like a junior tennis racket where, right, they can just kind of swat at the ball and get a lot of power. So I find that the surface area of the pickleball paddle is not typically the right dimension, and then it's also weighted a little light, in my opinion.
Okay, so you are of the theory that a little heavier will help people not to do necessarily the things they shouldn't be doing, basically. Great.
Yes, also with the circular shape too, it allows for better spin with this tennis paddle.
Okay. The other 2 questions, I'll lump them together, came from some of the clinics and probably the numbers and dollar amounts that you were talking about. So the question is, how many sessions per week and how long was each session? I'm assuming per day, and how many times a week they meet. So how many sessions per week, which is the same as the second question, and how long was each session?
Great. So I just ran this as a beta test outside of the private club that I was coaching at. So I ran it through a town Parks and Recs department. And so for that reason, I was only able to do one week for an hour. So it was a 4-week session for 1 hour. The kid had to pay $50 for that 4-week 1-hour session. But in the future, I'm planning on doing it more often, because I mean, I think if a player is interested, especially, I think it's better to be able to get them on the court a few times a week as well. I just didn't have the capacity currently to be able to run a program multiple days a week through that city.
Okay, great. So about $12.50, the entry cost to something like this, which is very reasonable to get into something that will then found.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you tacked on something where you had them rent the paddle or buy the paddle, that was an extra either $15 or $30. I, give them a big discount on the paddle in that situation. But I also found that when loaning kids equipment as well, they treat the paddles a lot better if they have a little bit of skin in the game. Like if it's their own paddle or if they're renting a paddle, they don't throw the paddles around as much as the first session where I just let everybody borrow paddles. Yeah.
Great. So when you talk about ratios on the court, how many in your opinion is ideal? How many is just bordering on too much?
I think 14 was maybe bordering the limit. Like, I don't think I would have gone more than that. The reason we went 14 was because the COVID restrictions were 14 at that time. So we couldn't have more than 14 kids in a class. And so I figured, why not try it with 14? But I think that if I was going to go more than 14, I would narrow the ages more. So I had between age 8 and 12 in this class. And so if I was going to go 16, for example, I would probably go 11 and 12 or 8 and 9. But I think the more you can get the age and skill level the more you can get the maturity level similar, I think you can go more. So with older kids, I think you could also probably go more. I probably wouldn't do 14 with a 6 to 7-year-old range. That would be a little bit challenging with probably the behavior of the class and things like that. Unless maybe I got a parent out there as sort of a helper, not an instructor, just sort of a keeping the behavior up.
Okay, great. Thank you, Nate. We're going to move on to our next speaker. I think Christy is introducing our next presenter. Christy, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Milan. All right, I would like to introduce everybody to Peter Guterman. He grew up in the Worcester area, and I'm from Oklahoma, so I know I don't say that right. He's been in tennis all of his life. He was a co-captain at Brown University. He was ranked top 10 in juniors, men's doubles. He's done father and son. He has been stringing professionally at satellite tournaments, men's pro tournaments, the Virginia Slims. We all remember those. He also worked at USTA New England as the director of junior tennis, and he's currently a member of USPTA. He distributes tennis and pickleball products through Pete Guterman Sales, and he currently teaches at Willie's Gym down on the Cape and at Willow Bend Golf and Country Club. So with that, Pete, I'm going to turn it over to you. Did he get, oh, there, Pete. I think, are you there, Peter? Like, I think we might be having some technical difficulties with Pete.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna call him again because I just spoke to him. He was give him one
Oh,
second.
I see him. He's just muted.
You can unmute.
There you are.
Okay, how's that?
There we go.
Okay, so I think I'm on the air. Christy, thanks for the nice, what should I say, introduction. So Mike Mercier about 6 months ago said, you know, you're speaking at the USPTA Spring Convention. I said, okay, really? So the product we talked about is the MSV tennis spoon. So just to give everyone some background, MSV is a tennis company that began in the year 2000. They're based in Germany, and they're very successful string and grip distributor. They've sold over 1 million sets of their main string, which is MSV Focus Hex, which is 6-sided poly. Okay, so going back a little bit in 2012, a coach, Jerry Bartos in Czechoslovakia, came up with this idea of the tennis spoon, and he basically created a wooden racket that's 24 inches long, and it's the sweet spot is the same in the wooden paddle or the wooden spoon as in a tennis racket. So he created this for his prized pupil, who went on to win the US Open Juniors last year, and also ended up the year #1 in the world. So there's a video on YouTube of Jonas Fiortek, who won, who was his prize pupil. And since that video came out, the product has gone viral. I just want to check, am I being heard okay?
Yes.
Yes, you're good, Peter.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay, I can't tell. I'm a rookie on this. Okay, so the video went viral. Anyone can see it if they go to YouTube and type in MSV tennis pointer. And so you know how in tennis, everyone's looking for the competitive edge, what's going to bring them to the next level, how are they going to beat their arch rival, and so on. And so a lot of coaches, a lot of players thought if this guy trains with the spoon and he's #1 in the world, then maybe it can help me. So the spoons are very, very popular. They're handmade in Germany. No, excuse me, they're handmade in Czechoslovakia. And then they're distributed all over the world. So what's so special about the spoon? Why is the spoon something for you? It's something everyone should look at because it changes all your senses about hitting a tennis ball. It's such a small sweet spot that you just have to refine your technique. You have to have better technique to make contact with the spoon. So it's really good for every stroke. On ground strokes, it's takes a while to just make contact, but you can go baseline to baseline, half court, and at the net, it's very difficult to hit the ball again until you play with it and you have the right technique. But you see instant improvement if you use it yourself or you give it to a student. You see very high rate of success quickly. So the other thing about the spoon is it's something different. People haven't seen it. People want to try it, and everyone laughs when they use it. So we all know how serious tennis training is all the time. And this is just a different angle, especially with youth tennis. It's just an incredible tool. And so you see, it can be good enough for a 10-year-old or you know, an older child. It doesn't seem to matter. It's just a very, very high interest level with young players. So I want to ask Mike, am I able to show those videos at all, or?
I can share my screen and show them. Which one did you want me to share?
I think we're.
Show, can you do the one that says Jonas? Jonas?
For some reason, I'm not gonna be able to get it to work. Let me work on this. Go ahead and keep talking because we're a little
Okay.
bit limited on time.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so anyways, it's something, it's a tool that you can incorporate into your teaching and playing. And the main thing, even if you show it to one of you, is, well, can I go baseline to baseline, or is it just something I have to hand feed? And really, you can use it for full court, half court, hand tosses, just about everything. So, oh, what else? So it's something that you have to see and put your hands on. I can hold it up in the, I don't know if everyone can see it. It's handmade of wood. And there's two different lengths. There's 24 inches for adults, and there's 21 inches for 10 and under, and the 10 and under has a 4 1/4 grip, and the adult size is 4 3/8. So Christy, any luck or not?
Hey,
Nothing.
Peter, I'm going to jump in. So this
Yeah.
is Michael Mercier. I use them on a daily basis. And that's why I asked Peter to come in, because I have my 3 to 5 year olds all the way up to adults. High performance to the kids that use my top juniors that are in New England, not only that, but nationally ranked. They utilize them. And also we have wheelchair, and I did a Special Olympics group last week that we're using them. So it's amazing. My recommendation is to go with the longer one, what this junior is using right here. Also, it's not only necessarily great with ground strokes, but for volleying. And the biggest thing is I found was serving. Serving's, you know, a couple of weeks ago, I had the Harvard men's and the women's tennis team trying them out, and they loved it. I do have one junior that I have a hard time getting it out of his hand because he'd rather hit with that than that's one of the juniors that I mentioned earlier. That's #1 in New England, top in the country, and he loves it. So I find it's a win-win situation. And also, will you notice with this junior right here, when he's hitting it, you have to hit the ball correctly or the ball doesn't go over. So it's pretty amazing how it works. And it's kind of a win-win. Once you've put it in your hand and passed it on, you'll find it's kind of addictive. Also, those people that are playing pickleball, you can actually find that it does work for other racket sports as well. So anyway, just thought I'd pass that on with that. And we are going to be giving one of those paddles, spoons away during the membership meeting. So I just want to give you heads up on it. And I usually keep 4 in my bags. It says usually if you do a 2-on-2 type of drill, I always have my juniors usually warm up with them. That's great for hand and eye coordination. Before a tournament, you hit on a wall, and then when they do put the racket in their hand, they're like amazed. So it's pretty exciting until you actually utilize them, and it's kind of a win-win deal. So Peter, how do we get a hold of one of those? Or you have a contact? Your contact information will be shared later. I know that when we send an email out. And go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so Christy, can we show one of the other 2 videos? Do we have enough time?
Yeah, we have enough time. So if you'll give your contact information, I'll pull them up.
Okay, so there's over 10 videos on YouTube. If you go to MSV Tennis Spoon, and there's videos constantly popping up. I selected 3 that were less than a minute. So the first one that you saw was Jonas Fortek when he was 12. He went on and ended up last year #1 in the world. And he's a big reason that it's so high. Either the other videos will give you some idea of the hitting aspects if you're a pro or a player with a student or a coach with a student. So let's see if Christy can work her magic for me. And away we go. So anyways, it's so different just talking to a screen. I wish I could see everyone, and I know a lot of you, and I hope everyone's having a good spring season and healthy, safe summer coming up. So can I take questions now as well as trying to shoot this other video out?
You can put it in the chat box only. Christy will entertain that. Sorry.
I'm gonna try one more time to do this video. We'll see if we can get this one.
So Peter, there's a question that just went through. This is Milan again. I'm gonna help
thanks.
out Christy here. How much does it weigh? And I'm assuming the junior and the adult. And by the way, I am originally from the Czech Republic, or back then Czechoslovakia, and I know this very well. That video reminded me of myself hitting with it. That was pretty neat. So what's the weight of the paddles, or the spoons, I should say?
Is like just under 10. Oh, this is good. This is an instructional video with a young player. And he's just getting hand feeds.
Peter, are you able to answer? How much do they weigh?
Yeah. Yeah, it was 11 for the adult, and it's a little under 10 for the 10 and under.
And Peter, how much do they cost? I know there was some,
I think Peter might have, his screen might have frozen. We
Yeah,
do have
so-
a couple of other questions as well.
I'm here.
The cost of the spoon, and how do we get a hold of one?
Yeah, the spoons are $89 each. And if you buy 6, it drops down to 70. So it's a nice discount if you can use
Like, I
it.
think Peter's iPad must be frozen. So why don't we get all of this information out to everybody in a follow-up, and make sure that they have his contact information so that he can connect with them directly and talk to them directly.
Okay, am I lost? Christy, can you hear me?
Oh, now we can hear you. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so the spoons are $89 each, and there's a discount at 6, it goes down to $70. And they're shipped right from Cape Cod, so just if you call me or go on my website, peterguttermansales.com, or also on Amazon and eBay. So there's 4 different ways of ordering them.
and also you're going to probably find online that you'll see them $30, $50. Those are make-offs. Those are not the real deal. So when you do see that kind of those spoons on there, they're not the real deal. So you'll find that when you do hit something like that, it's not the same thing. So just want to mention that, Peter.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there are some copycat product coming from China and Russia, but there's no durability to the product.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Peter. I'm going to jump in, and Christy, thank you for having that. And we're going to, our next speaker and presenter is person that I met here in the recent few months, and very excited about see what's going on, but I won't need to tell you that once you find out what's happening here. I've already had several contacts, people calling me, how do I do this? How do I get that? And it's pretty amazing what you're going to be seeing next. So coming up is Fast Track Tennis. So it's like to have the honor and pleasure to entertain and have John Davey here from Connecticut. He doesn't want to tell you where he lives, because if you look in the back of his room there, he just got in all these nets. And so, you know, you can try to figure out where he lives, but I can't tell you that. So anyway, John is the founder and CEO of Fast Track Tennis, a former D1 tennis professional, former #1 NCAA Division I collegiate player. And I played singles. He wants to make sure, you know, he did play singles. So that's probably why he got the Fast Track Tennis going here. And aspiring professional. After college, decided to move on down to Wall Street and make some money. But now he didn't realize what he was going to be getting into. So now he brought Wall Street to his office, and he's going to be making some coins. So John, anyway, I'm just going to let you take on, and I'm not going to say any more. Otherwise, everybody's going to be very excited to see what you got. So it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Mike. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Maybe turn the volume up just a little bit. There we go. Awesome.
You can hear me okay?
Great. Yes.
All right. So, yeah, thank you very much, Mike. Very nice introduction. Hello, everyone. I am John Davey. I'm the founder of Fast Track Tennis. We are a pre-revenue startup. I've been in stealth mode, for the last probably year and a half, up until about now. So I'm excited to be here, and thank you all for taking the time to include me on your program today. I'd like to say, I started this project with a pretty singular, pretty ambitious goal, which is, I want to grow the game, get more people playing. I know everyone says that, but what I want to do is really try to, not just have the same old regular people, but bring in new people into the game from different socioeconomic backgrounds, from different demographics. And in fact, we're starting a nonprofit to get our product out to people and organizations that might never have otherwise played tennis or had, proximity or access to it. So we're excited about that. And of course, we're very excited and want to work with people who already play tennis, love the game, who want to practice, and I think who will get a real charge and a real benefit out of using our product. We'll call those kind of our early adopters. But the exciting part for me here in all this is really about growing the game. So what is Fast Track Tennis, and why do we think that that'll be successful? Well, I'm going to show you a video, but first, I want to kind of back up and let you in on sort of what I was thinking about getting this thing started and everything. So my first point is that I very strongly believe that we can make it faster and less expensive for people to learn how to play if we give them the right tool. And so that's my first premise. Second is I think that if we make practice easier and more fun, people will get better quicker. Their enjoyment, their engagement will expand and increase exponentially. And third, I'm pretty certain that smartphones, using video for feedback, for coaching, for interactive gaming is going to help broaden our appeal as a sport to a much larger universe, especially people now who are interested in kind of exploring that physical plus digital fitness and entertainment world. So like I said, I've got some pretty ambitious goals, but that's what makes this exciting, for me and hopefully for you guys. And that's what Fast Track Tennis and our patent pending product is going to be all about. So hopefully after my talk, our talk today, and after you see the product, you'll be inspired and, want to potentially work with us, or at the very least learn more about what we're doing. So what I'm going to try to do right now, and I'm a little timid because of the video quality, but I'm going to try to share my screen for a very short, homemade, non-Academy Award nominee video, and then hopefully we can talk a little bit more. And here we go. Okay, can everybody see the screen, Fast Track Tennis? All right.
Welcome to Fast Track Tennis, a portable tennis simulator for hitting real balls anytime, anywhere. Sets up easily inside or out on any small footprint, like a garage, driveway, or tennis court. Consistent repetition lets players work on fundamentals or improve technique for ground strokes, footwork, volleys, half volleys, pickups, or just grooving your strokes, working up a sweat, and melting away some stress. The net is lightweight and portable for easy up, easy down, and dimensions are proportional to a tennis court. For optimal efficiency, it works best with 3 or 4 balls. You can also use tournament, green dot, or orange dot balls. It plugs into the wall or can run on 4 D-cell batteries. It's totally fun as a standalone, but also designed as a physical plus digital system. Hardware includes a net, a ball feeder, a dozen practice balls, a tripod for your smartphone, and our app uses sophisticated object tracking software to track ball speed, spin, and landing position. Here's a side view in slow motion. This is what your smartphone views from the tripod. And these are some of our ball tracking algorithms in action. The net, ball feeder, and balls let you hit like you're on a real court, and the app keeps track of your progress. They say practice makes perfect. Fast Track Tennis is the perfect practice partner.
Okay. Am I back?
You're back.
All right. So that's it. You know, it's basically a solo tennis device that you can set up anytime, anywhere, indoors or out. I've got one in my basement right here. Got one in my garage. I have been working with a couple guys informally and women, I should say, as well, informally. And I see Mike Calendo, you know, on the screen right there. And with your, is that your guitar, Mike? So maybe you can, you know, play a little tune for us. But I'd be happy to open it up. I don't know if Joyce is on, or Mike, you've seen the product as well, Mike Mercier. Does any of you guys have any sort of initial comments or feedback?
I'd be happy to start, John. You know, real quick, I have one set up on the first court at my indoor facility. And I think you know, it's been there for about a week now. All I can say is everybody who walks in asks me what it is. And when I describe it, the first question is, how do I get one? Well, the first question is, how much does it cost? Which you should probably tell everybody, because I think the low price will surprise people. And the second price is, that's all? How can I get one? So I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, so, you know, again, guys, if you think back to what my mission is, right, I want to make this really accessible. And, you know, this isn't going to be a Dick's Sporting Good product. It's, you know, for the foreseeable future, a direct to consumer to, you know, kind of keep the margin and keep the cost down. But, you know, my target price is $299, $300. And so that's the net, the ball machine, a dozen balls, a tripod, and then our app is free. The first version of the app is, you know, going to be pretty basic. I should say, it tracks ball speed and spin and landing position and kind of what you saw on the screen there. Next version is going to be, you know, hopefully interactive gaming, so that, you know, Mike can kick my butt, you know, from Amherst while I'm in Hartford, you know, playing against each other. So, but $300 is kind of the target price point. Inflation is coming in. Mike said I'm a Wall Street guy, so yeah, I'm keenly aware of producer price indexes and commodity prices. But that's my target, at least initially, and I want to keep it so that, you know, it's affordable.
And John, just a couple more things, just a couple of ways that I'm thinking of using them. John's been very kind, very generous with me and my jokes. I actually have 3 of these machines now. One of them is set up at my facility, but the other 2 I plan to rent out to my students. I have a lot of students who, especially when they're new, they really don't have anybody to go home and practice with. And we all know that there's no silver bullet to learning how to play tennis. You need to practice. You need to connect with balls. It feeds a ball out every 3 seconds, and they can take this home. They can set it up, and they can practice for 15 minutes a pop, probably 10 times a week if they wanted to, in their driveway, in their garage, in their basement, wherever.
That's the premise, Mike. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, you know, the balls come out, and so it's all about repetition. You know, in version 1 is it shoots to a consistent point, right? You know, a lot of people ask, does it move? Does it do that? And I think that, you know, we all know as tennis players that, you know, building that sort of repeatable stroke is probably the most important thing. So yeah, you can set up at home, ball shoots, you know, every 3-ish seconds. You know, that's 1,000 balls in an hour. And I defy anybody, you know, to be able to get that kind of repetition in. And like Mike said, you know, you work 5-10 minutes a day in between lessons, you're going to see your students, I think, you know, skyrocket, you know, in terms of their repeatable strokes.
Yeah, and the one other thing I'll say before I let Mike jump in, because he's chomping at the bit over here, I can tell, is the other thing that I'm planning to do is I also have a couple of students where the money is an issue. They absolutely cannot afford a pile of lessons, but either, you know, for $300, maybe they buy a machine. We set that tripod up with their iPhone, and this is John gave me this idea, and we FaceTime. And I just sit in my chair right here at my computer and I can actually coach him for 15 or 20 minutes, and maybe we charge a minimal fee for that. But the idea is that I can actually coach somebody from home while they hit in their own driveway, and I think that's a very, very unique opportunity. So
And they just Venmo you, you know, your rate is pretty high, Mike, right? $100. But yeah, I mean, you can make house calls, right? You can have people, you know, what was always a limitation before was that you need to see your student hitting balls. But now, you know, I eliminate that barrier, and you can hit balls at home like I was doing in my garage, and you as a coach can work with them, you know, on whatever it is that you need to work with them on. Mike in Boston.
Yeah. Hey, so thanks, Mike. And yeah, how many of you are attending this during COVID times or sitting in your room? I see Sharton hanging out with a pillow in the back. I see Tail, you know, he's back from Miami hanging out there. Lynn's not on the ski slope, so she's chilling. But how many of you have never left your house during COVID time? Well, here's an opportunity where you can work on your tennis game and have that in your basement or in your garage or anywhere. The biggest thing I saw that was great about this, fantastic, is that how many of you work camps? How many of you have your own club, camp, recreational program? You get like 6 to 8 of these and put them on one court, and you can run stations. You want to talk about bringing in revenue? There you go. You just paid for it. So I've already done it this past week. I had a Special Olympics group, and what we did is we put up the 4 nets, put them in the corners, and then in the meantime, I was working on a tennis court, and then every 2 minutes we rotated. It was amazing. And then also you'd be amazed how many kids were fired up and success with it. And then if you want to turn around at the price of it, you're going to be getting it. It's better to invest in several of them, because during camps, you can actually work individually with all these different people. And then on top of that, if one of them wanted to bring one home or parents want to invest in them, there we go. So I could see someone invest in like 10 to 20 of these. And if you have a camp, it's a win-win situation. What's great about it is the mechanics of everything, how user-friendly it is. I believe, John, I think when you put it together, what was the record? I think it was like 1.5 minutes to put it together. I did send you a photo of you being in a garage last week when I saw you up here, but you should see the space that you can put it in. It takes no space at all. And you actually can, I think it's 16 feet back from where you need to be to hit the ball. By the way, I used it with being in a wheelchair and with my high performance juniors, and everybody was addicted to it. So the only problem I saw is that everybody was wanting to take them home, and you know, it's crazy what's happening with it. So anyway, go ahead, John. I know you're ready.
Yeah, I saw a couple of questions pop up. You know, this is version 1, right? So, you know, there's definitely room for improvement. And for those of us who are old enough to remember, you know, the advent of the personal computer and, you know, those original Macintosh, you know, this thing's going to evolve over time. And so I'm definitely interested in getting feedback and improving the product. But, you know, everything just sort of is iterative. So, you know, it takes time, and we'll work together on that. As far as, you know, the app, it is separate and distinct from the machine right now. And it is a work in progress as well. Lighting will impact it. You know, if you've got a lot of stuff in, you know, orange tennis balls in the background, you know, that'll affect it. So it works pretty well. You know, it doesn't work like flawlessly. That's why we have the orange balls with the black dots on it to track RPMs. So, you know, again, this will evolve and get better over time. You set the tripod at 16 feet from, it's calibrated, you know, with the computer vision object tracking software to be set at 16 feet, but it throws the ball to about 8.5 feet. And so you're hitting at about 12 feet, you know, from the net, plus or minus. And as far as Shark Tank goes, I saw a question pop up there. Those guys are sharks, you know, and it takes a long time to get on the program. Who knows, maybe, but really what I'm looking to do is work with guys who see the value in this, want to help grow the game, and, you know, can kind of create more of a multiplier effect so that, you know, you get them for your club or yourself, but then your students want to buy them as well. Because I am a business. I've spent an awful lot of money to this point, and, you know, I want to start turning it into a successful business. So happy to talk to, you know, all of you guys individually or, you know, in a different format. You can reach me, you know, through the website or John at fasttracktennis.com or whatever. You know, happy to talk to you guys. Inventory is my biggest issue right now, just like everybody else. You know, going to a bike store, it's hard to get a bike. You know, it takes time and all. So I'm working my best as I can. I am full-time on this, and I would love to talk to you guys more, you know, as it sees fit, and happy to answer any other questions.
John, can you talk about the repeatability of the feed? Because I found that to be a big selling point for this. Like, you got a realistic feed as compared with like other products trying to do a similar thing. So
Right. So, you know, the ball, when you drop a ball, you lose about 50% of its energy, right? So if you drop from 6 feet, it bounces to about 3 feet. You know, I've had people say, oh, you should shoot it faster, you should shoot it, you know, different angles. But, you know, from a repeatability standpoint, you know, it shoots out and presents at basically the same spot every time. And, you know, the more I thought about this, that's the essence of what we're doing. You know, I'm not looking to take the place of tennis per se, but really let people groove their strokes and make a repeatable, you know, sort of muscle memory, call it, so that then when they get on the court, they can adapt, you know, because how often do you have a lesson with somebody, you feed them balls, they say, I'm playing great, but then as soon as they start moving around, they lose it, you know. So this is designed, as you say, just repeatability. It shoots every 3.5 seconds, depending on batteries versus, you know, plugged into the wall, the currents. Goes to about 6 feet high, comes out to about 8.5 feet or so, and you hit it into the net, which is 7 by 7. And like Mike said, you can set up in your basement.
And John, there was a question on there, is there a pickleball version? And the answer is no, but I know John's saying this is a tennis thing, but I actually looked at it where you could use your pickleball and you can work on your your drop shot, because it does work at 3 feet. So for those of people who are very avid about wanting to do pickleball, it will work. Go ahead, John.
I would gladly talk to anybody about pickleball. You know, there's some settings on it right now that are, you know, calibrated for a tennis ball. And there's a spring. And when I put a pickleball in and got it to work, it shot the pickleball through the roof, you know, because the pickleball. So, you know, we'd have to make some modifications to the mechanics. But if you think that there's an application for pickleball, you know, I've got it 95% done right now. So I'd be happy to talk to you guys.
And in regards to the pickleball, I would use the same ball that's with this device, because it's the same type of technique. And if you can hit it with a compression tennis ball, you should be able to do it with a pickleball. So you really don't need to do a pickleball in terms of working for training. So anyway.
Hey, Mike, real quick. I don't know, is Joyce on, if she's bashful or not, or has anything?
I don't see her on here, but no, I don't see her on here.
So just for the benefit of the group, you know, Joyce Dowd up in Burlington, you know, she's got some machines and she's been super enthusiastic. So, you know, if anybody wants to kind of validate, you know, feel free to check with her.
And then, John, did you want to set up an ambassador, or we talked about communication where they can go through you? And I'm glad to answer any questions and then take them back through you.
Yeah, let's like I said, guys, you know, I'm interested in kind of strategic partnerships right now, just because I've got limits to inventory. I don't want to just turn it on and let anybody buy it. You know, I want to get feedback. I want to improve the product. I want to stay close to people. So, you know, if we can work together, that would be ideal for me. And you know, I'm happy. I'm here in New England. I'm in Hartford, and I drive all over. So, you know, happy to meet up with anybody, talk on the phone, or you know, whatever makes sense.
Great. Thank you very much, John. Much appreciated. By the way, we have a membership meeting coming up for the next
Thanks,
hour.
guys.
And John is actually, we're going to be drawing a name for somebody to have the opportunity to have one of those beautiful machines behind them. So thanks again. And we'll be entertaining that during the membership meeting. If you have any
Thanks,
more
guys.
questions, feel free to reach out to Johnny. Be more glad to help you. Take care. We'll see you next at the membership meeting. Thank
See you
you.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.